Some princesses are born into royalty and others marry into it. But whatever their story may be, we can all agree that every single Disney princess deserves her current status. Watch until the end to find out which Disney character married into a royal family without ever knowing it. Now let's find out which Disney princesses were born into royalty and which ones married into it. Snow White. Snow White was born into a royal family, but her world was quickly shattered when her mother passed away and her father remarried. Despite coming off as a sweet stepmother at first, the evil queen quickly showed her true colors after Snow White's father mysteriously perished. Obsessed with beauty and being the fairest one of all, the evil queen did the unthinkable and sent a huntsman to murder her stepdaughter. However, her plan failed when the huntsman had a change of heart. Snow White fled her kingdom to stay alive, but the royal wouldn't stay in the dark for long. Her beautiful voice found its way into a prince's ears, causing him to fall deeply in love with her. Despite feeling the same way, Snow White chose to be cautious and fled. The prince had no clue that Snow White was a princess herself, which is what makes them such an ideal match. By the end of the film, Snow White and the prince marry, turning her into a princess by birth and marriage alike. So, in other words, Snow White is as royal as a person can get. Cinderella. Now let's switch our focus to a princess who claimed her title through marriage alone. Cinderella might be the daughter of an aristocrat, but that doesn't exactly make her a royal match. Luckily for her, Prince Charming couldn't find a girl worth marrying, which caused the king to broaden his search for a future daughter-in-law.
It's high time he married and settled down.
Although many royal families refused to taint their bloodline with unworthy matches, the king was desperate to see his son get married, so he let his son pick his own bride.
There's to be a ball. A ball? In honor of His Highness, the Prince.
Oh, the Prince!
Despite being invited to the royal ball, Cinderella was tricked into staying home. But luckily for her, she had a fairy godmother on her side. By the end of the film, Cinderella marries into the royal family, making her a princess by matrimony. Don't they make the cutest couple? Aurora. Aurora is the third Disney princess to join the lineup, and much like Snow White, she's a double whammy. The evil Maleficent placed a curse on Aurora the day she was born, which led her to fall into a deep slumber on her 16th birthday. But if that wasn't bad enough, this curse also put her entire kingdom to sleep as well.
Well, here's your precious princess.
Princess Aurora is the daughter of King Stefan, which makes her a royal by birth. And if things had gone the way Maleficent had intended them to, Aurora would have never had the chance to further her royal bloodline. However, Prince Philip eventually stumbled across the Frozen Kingdom and broke the spell with love's true kiss. After the spell was broken and livelihood returned to the kingdom, Aurora and Philip were married, making Aurora a princess by birth and marriage. So, there you have it. Aurora couldn't be more royal. Ariel. Ariel is King Triton and Queen Athena's youngest and feistiest daughter. Despite being born into a royal bloodline, Ariel was willing to give up everything for a pair of legs. So she did just that.
Ariel's been turned into a human.
All Princess Ariel wanted was to go on adventures and learn about the world above the sea. But going to the surface was forbidden. However, listening to the rules was never Ariel's forte. One day, the little princess fell in love with a sailor, who just so happened to be a prince. And by the end of the film, she was finally able to get him to love her in return. So if anyone ever asks you which Disney princess stands out above the rest, you can answer Ariel with total confidence. After all, she's a royal, whether she's below or above sea level. Tiana. Tiana might look like she was born into royalty, but this couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, Tiana is one of the few Disney princesses who becomes royal by marriage alone. Her mother was a dressmaker and her father a soldier, which caused her to know the meaning of hard work. All Tiana ever wanted was to open up her own restaurant, but life got in the way. One day, she came face to face with a frog and agreed to kiss him despite her better judgment.
Just one kiss.
Unless you beg for more.
Turning into a frog was the least thing Tiana expected, but somehow changing forms taught her the most valuable lesson of all. Before Tiana knew what was happening, the princess-to-be started to fall for Prince Naveen. So much so that she chose to tie the knot.
And now pronounce your frog in wife.
After sealing the deal and kissing her prince, she and Prince Naveen turned back into their human forms, which allowed Tiana to pursue her dreams on royal grounds. Mulan. When it comes down to it, Mulan is one of the only Disney princesses whose royal status can't be justified. She's the daughter of the Honorable Fa Zhu, who happens to be an old warrior.
I'm ready to serve the Emperor.
Her bloodline is the furthest thing from royal. However, she's still referred to as a princess. While some people think that her marriage to Captain Li Shang is what turned her into a royal, this is also false. After all, Li Shang is the son of a captain, not a king. So what makes Mulan a princess? Well, according to Disney, it's her act of heroism. Mulan's actions brought so much honor to her family that she was instantly deemed a princess.
Father, I brought you the sword of Shan Yu.
Although she might be included in the Disney princess lineup, Mulan's background sticks out like a sore thumb, and we wouldn't have her any other way. Pocahontas. Pocahontas is a kind and open-minded Disney princess who never fails to seize the day. She's the daughter of Chief Powhatan, making her a Disney princess by birth. Despite being warned to stay away from the foreign intruders, Pocahontas disregards her father's commands and spies on the strange men who've just landed on her father's shores.
It's all right. I'm not gonna hurt you.
After falling in love with Captain John Smith, Pocahontas realizes that her tribe and John's men aren't so different after all. Sadly, this doesn't stop history from occurring. Although Pocahontas and John Smith don't end up getting married, this doesn't make her any less royal. After all, John Smith wasn't a prince to begin with. Despite coming from very different worlds, Pocahontas manages to convince her father to spare John's life.
My daughter speaks with the wisdom beyond her years.
And while their last goodbye is somewhat of a tearjerker, John knows that the princess will always be with him. So, there you have it. Pocahontas is a natural-born princess, through and through. Vanellope. Vanellope von Schweetz might be hard to deal with at times, but she has her reasons. She's a rough and tough character who belongs to the Wreck-It Ralph franchise, but she's also much more than a secondary character. Like most Disney princesses, Vanellope's story begins when a big and courageous man stumbles into her plotline.
Are you a hobo?
No.
All Vanellope ever wanted was to race. Sadly, King Candy forbade her to enter contests due to her glitch. But instead of giving up, Vanellope did everything she could to enter a race and win it. And did she ever? By the end of the film, it's revealed that Vanellope is actually a long-lost princess who's had her memory erased.
All hail the rightful ruler of Sugar Rush.
Princess Vanellope is a natural-born royal, and while she may be too young to get married now, she might end up marrying into a royal family when she comes of age. But whether she does this or not, the princess will always be a princess in our books. Sophia. She may not be an official Disney princess, but she sure is worth the mention. Sophia is the protagonist of the Disney Junior series, Sophia the First, and she's doing everything she can to become a royal. Like her theme song explains, the young princess used to be nothing more than a peasant. That is until her mother fell in love with the king of Enchantia. Before she knew what was going on, Sophia was crowned as a princess and forced to learn the ropes. With the help of her fellow Disney princesses, Sophia learns how to take on the world. However, she is a princess by marriage and marriage alone, and if her mother hadn't married the king, she would still be a shoemaker's daughter.
It was a perfect fit, and so were they.
Do you guys think that Sophia should become an official Disney princess? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Merida. There is nothing more important than freedom, which is why Merida chose to do everything in her power to remain an unmarried princess.
I am Merida, firstborn descendant of Clan Dunbrog.
Despite being old enough to marry into a royal family, Merida hated the idea of becoming someone's wife, so she did everything she could to remain single. Princess Merida is the firstborn daughter to Queen Eleanor and King Fergus, making her a natural-born princess. And while the Kingdom of Dunbrock expects her to marry another royal and eventually further her bloodline, she'd rather give her status up than play by the rules. Merida is one of the first Disney princesses to show zero interest in falling in love, which is why she's a gem. By the end of the film, Merida's mother accepts the fact that her daughter is unique and wonderful in her own way.
You changed. Oh, darling. We both have.
Despite refusing to get married, Merida's still a royal by birth. Elsa. There's no doubt in our minds that Elsa will eventually be welcomed into the Disney Princess Hall of Fame, but for now, the Ice Queen's status is pending. Elsa is King Agnar and Queen Iduna's firstborn daughter, making her the heiress of Arendelle. While she may be a wonderful ruler, Elsa's got a secret that could ruin her life. After letting the cat out of the bag, Elsa flees her kingdom, leaving her younger sister Anna in charge. However, Anna had little interest in ruling Arendelle without her sister by her side. Elsa eventually comes home and takes her rightful seat on the throne.
Are you ready?
Queen Elsa has no intention on getting married anytime soon, but that doesn't stop her from ruling Arendelle like the royal she is. After all, Elsa's royal bloodline speaks for itself. Anna. Much like her big sister Elsa, Anna's princess status is also pending, but we have no doubt that the Arendelle sisters will make their way into the Disney Hall of Fame in the nick of time. Anna is King Agnar and Queen Iduna's youngest daughter, making her the second in command. Although she may never become the primary ruler of Arendelle, that doesn't make Anna any less of a princess.
Princess Anna of Arendelle.
Anna might come off as shy and clumsy at first, but the young princess is actually super brave and giving. Without her love and dedication, Arendelle might have never seen their rightful ruler take a seat on her throne. Anna is a natural-born princess, which makes Kristoff a prince by marriage.
Do you like it?
Like it. I love it!
So there you have it. Prince Anna is a royal by birth and always will be. Melody. Much like her mother, Ariel, Melody is a very special Disney princess. After all, she's the product of a mermaid falling in love with a human. Melody's story can be found in The Little Mermaid 2: Return to the Sea, which tells the tale of Melody's upbringing. Despite wanting nothing more than to go into the ocean, Ariel forbids her daughter from entering the sea and chooses to hide her fishy past from her. But everything changes when Melody finds out the truth for herself.
What is this? My name's on here.
Melody is Ariel and Prince Eric's only daughter, making her a princess by 2 royal connections. She's half mermaid and half human, and let's face it, not many Disney princesses can say the same. Jasmine. Jasmine is the 6th official Disney princess to join the Hall of Fame, and she's one of the most beloved characters of all time. Despite being of age to get married, Jasmine wants nothing to do with her suitors, and this has everything to do with the fact that she lacks adventure and spontaneity.
But Jasmine, you're a princess.
Then maybe I don't want to be a princess anymore.
After escaping the palace walls and meeting Aladdin, Jasmine falls in love with someone she'll never be allowed to marry. This is because she's the daughter of the Sultan of Agrabah, and she's expected to marry a prince with a legitimate royal connection. Jasmine's disdain for Prince Ali shifts when she realizes that he's not who he's pretending to be. Jasmine is a true born royal, but she ends up marrying a common peasant despite her father's wishes.
I choose you.
The Arabian princess ends up making a royal out of Aladdin when she says, "I do." Belle. Belle is a smart and brave young woman who is nothing more than a commoner. She's the daughter of a wacky inventor, and she wouldn't change that for the world. When it comes to being a princess, Belle doesn't have a drop of royal blood running through her veins, but that never stopped her from joining the official Disney princess lineup. Belle's big heart causes her to become the Beast prisoner.
You didn't even let me say goodbye. I'll never see him again.
But sooner than later, she realizes that there's a lot more to Beasts than meets the eye. Before long, the Beauty and the Beast end up falling in love and tempting the hands of fate.
It is you.
Belle is the perfect example of a Disney princess who is royal by marriage and nothing else. Moana. Moana is the daughter of Chief Tui, making her a princess by birthright. She's a brave and just ruler, which is why her parents are certain that she'll make a great chief when she comes of age.
Well, we should clear the diseased trees, and we will start a new grove there.
Moana is a New Age princess, which means that getting married by the end of her movie isn't a must. The young ruler embarks on a life-changing journey that ends up restoring the world's resources and saving her people. She's an official Disney princess who is royal by blood and not by marriage. For now, she is one legitimate royal connection, but all that can change in the years to come. Moana is an inspiration, and she's allowed her people to reconnect with her ancestors' roots. Rapunzel. Rapunzel is a special Disney princess for more than one reason. Not only was she born with special abilities, but she was also kidnapped at birth and held captive for 18 years. She's a princess by birthright, and once she realized this, there was no stopping her.
I am the lost princess.
After defeating Mother Gothel, Rapunzel reunites with her family. Afterward, she is finally able to become the princess she was always meant to be.
Did Rapunzel and I ever get married?
Although she may be a royal by birth, Rapunzel is not a royal by marriage. After all, she does end up with Eugene, an ex-convict. Jane. We all know that Jane isn't a natural-born princess, but did you know that she's a legitimate princess by marriage? It was confirmed that Tarzan is Queen Elsa and Princess Anna's long-lost brother, which makes him a prince by birth. Funny enough, Tarzan was adopted by Kala and Kerchak, who happen to be royal gorillas. This makes Tarzan a royal member of the animal kingdom, so we're sure that Jane and Tarzan would be surprised to find out that Tarzan is a prince by birth, and not only by adoption. Tarzan literally swept Jane off her feet when they first met. So much so that she ended up leaving her entire life behind to be with him. So, there you have it. Jane is a princess by marriage on 2 separate accounts. While she may be an excluded princess, it's only a matter of time before she joins the ranks. Which Disney princess is your favorite? Let us know who your top 3 are in the comment section below. And that's the end of our video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on The Things.